Hello, I want to quickly review what happened during the week of October 11 through 17. I'm making this on the 17th on Saturday afternoon, towards the end of the day, towards the end of this week, and what I had predicted for the week and what happened. What I predicted is that there is an emphasis this past week on moving forward, getting things done. Don't get slowed down. If you look at what was happening on the big stage of, for example, politics and news items, that's exactly what was happening. One of the main events, for example, in American politics was a hearing about Amy Coney Barrett for her to be appointed to the Supreme Court, whether she would be approved to do that or not. And the Democrats and Republicans, who are often extremely polarized and argumentative, worked together relatively well. There was even some joking going on. Here's an article about Cory Booker, who's a Democrat, and Ted Cruz, who's a Republican. Normally, there's not a lot of uh, good feelings. People are always interrupting each other and arguing, and they're joking around. Cory Booker's joking about being vegan and saying that Ted Cruz is the other vegan. Well, Ted Cruz is in Texas, and it's the farthest thing from a vegan. A lot of joking around camaraderie at the end of the hearing, getting in. I think this is towards, yes, Thursday. I believe it is that Dianne Feinstein, one of the most liberal Democrats, goes up and hugs Lindsey Graham, who's presiding over the hearings, is an extremely conservative Republican. And they're hugging. This is something that doesn't happen. So there was this feeling of moving forward. We argued, a relatively positive, healthy interchange went on. And they made their points and they disagreed and they moved on. Very unusual. People are actually upset about this coming together. But as I predicted, by the end of the week, things get a little more contentious, a little more argumentative. And let's see, over here, many articles about how the hearings were a failure, and this one about how she's going to get nominated probably, and it's going to be terrifying, and she didn't really answer questions. So by the end of the week, there's not such a good feeling about things as people get more entrenched in their views, which is what I expected. And also, let me point this out. This is very interesting. Wolf Blitzer for CNN interviews Nancy Pelosi about the stimulus bill, and Donald Trump has said, let's make a pretty big stimulus bill, big from the Republican point of view, up to 1.6 trillion. The Democrats want more, over 2 trillion. And Wolf Blitzer is saying, hey, this is not bad. The Republicans have done better than they usually do in terms of the Democrat preferences. Make a deal. Call the president. Call Mitch McConnell. Call anybody. Get this done. This is people need help. They're having trouble getting food. Do something. And that is in the spirit of the energy of the week. Move forward, get things done. Don't worry about details. But Nancy Pelosi says, no, the details are not right. It's not good. And instead of being an interview, this gets to be kind of like a fight. And I think the feeling, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, is a lot of sympathy for Wolf Blitzer on this. Nancy Pelosi does not come out looking good. Why? Because the tide of the week was that Mars-Jupiter kind of energy. Go, get things done. Don't fuss about little details when things look good. So, this is how we can use this kind of information. Also, one last thing was I had predicted a lot of inspiration, intuition, and there's been some discussions about black holes because a Nobel Prize for scientists working with black holes was given the week before, and so people are discussing it. It's coming up. Roger Penrose, who is a very inspiring scientist, was one of the people to get a prize, and so that discussion is coming up. Donald Trump was asked early in the week if he's looking into UFOs and the committee that's been set up to look into UFOs. He said he will look into it. So we're seeing topics like this come up. I went to Google Trends and I looked at ESP. I could bring it up, but I just want to make this short just to get across the idea. And searches for ESP went up this past week if you look at the last year. So I think there is some evidence, mild evidence, that those kind of topics did come up. I think that the points about moving forward, getting things done, and not getting stuck in the mud with details was more crystal clear and obvious. So I just wanted to review this and talk about what the forecast was, what happened, and how we use the astrology to make good decisions, and how we could guide people like politicians to do the kinds of things that will be most effective. Thank you very much for listening, my friends. God bless. Namaste.